Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Lore Sports proudly brings to you the best racing podcast in the world. Now, here's your host, Lauren Leach, the color guy, Mark Allen, the Loose Lugs Racing Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Loose Lugs Racing Podcast, sponsored by the Corp Racing and Valley Gasket. Thank you, Tim, Ben, and Carrie, for all that you do for us and the whole racing community. It's amazing. It truly is. I know I say that every time, but it's remarkable. Mark, episode 179. How are you doing, man?
What's with the Brewer stuff, dude? We're talking racing. Oops.
Yeah.
Kind of 12 in a row here, man. Kind of celebrating here in Wisconsin, man. Free burgers down in the Milwaukee area.
Yeah, George Webb with the 12th win, free burgers. There's one in Peshtigo from what I understand, and the rest is West Bend on South from there. So, yeah, exciting time to be a Brewer fan. Hopefully they're not getting hot at the wrong time here, but it sure is exciting either way.
Sure is fun trying, man. Fun watching them, man. It's pretty exciting stuff.
Oh, it is, man. And in the thick of race season on top of it, which is always a blast too. Hey man, I wanted to start this thing off by saying condolences to Robbie Brewer, his family, friends, the racing community. We lost him down at Bowman Gray this past week. Sounds like he had a heart attack before crashing very hard into the turn 4 wall. So thoughts and prayers out to everyone in that community, the racing community, his friends, family. Another big loss for the racing community, man.
Yeah, that was a scary incident. It was a hard crash, and then the word came out that he had a health issue there. So unfortunate there. Yep, condolences to the friends and family of that whole mess over there.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're going to have the Showstopper on today, Mike Meyerhofer Jr. He won the Terry Van Roy Memorial Figure 8 race this past week. We'll talk about other things that happened in the short track world. Got some big news that came out, so we're going to talk some news, a lot of racing, IndyCar, NASCAR, among other things, short track related. So why don't we go out to the hotline right away and bring the Showstopper on, man?
We like going to the hotline, man. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, Showstopper. Hey, thanks for joining us, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Hey, Mike, how was it? You were working hard last week, man, running double races, man. Were you getting wore out there?
No, of course not. I ran pretty much my entire career double races. So I have fun with it.
You've raced in what, Mike? 7 different divisions?
Yep. The only division I haven't done at Kakana is the sports truck.
And when's that coming?
I don't know if the old back can handle something like that, but if someone wants to throw me in a sport truck to complete the thing, that would be really cool.
For sure, man. Hey, I want to start off by talking about your big win this past week, the Terry Van Roy Memorial Figure 8 race. It's your second time winning that, so you're a 2-time winner of that event. It's a huge thing, especially for us up here, really the whole state and should be the country because of what Terry Van Roy meant to racing. So kind of touch on being a 2-time winner if you can, and then also on Terry Van Roy, your relationship with him, when he meant to the racing community.
Sure. So Terry actually meant a lot. I'm going to start with what he meant a lot to me. We farmed on KK just across the road from the junkyard. So as a little tyke, I was down in the junkyard a lot where he worked for my uncles. So I got to know him, see him a lot. When I started racing, obviously he was already a champion and doing his thing. So I looked up to him. But with my, let's say, competitiveness, wanted to be the best I could be. I chased him down and I wanted to race him. And I learned a lot through racing against him, following him, and eventually passing him. So he meant a lot to that. Winning the inaugural Terry Van Roy Memorial Race was very special. Obviously, because I had known him since I was little, that was phenomenal, and I had a race for it. I started in the back on that one. This one, with the luck of the draw, I got to start up front, and I always said this: you start up front, you still got to hold the rest of the hound dogs off. And Nick Osberg really gave me a heck of a run, and I still had a race for it. So win is a win, and we'll take it. And still very special.
Hey, lately, man, we've been seeing the more you go, it seems like it's smoking, and the faster you're going. How much more oil you got to put in that thing after you're done racing?
Yeah, this year is the first time that I ever had that much blow by. But talking with other figure eight drivers, they've had it in the past, and I think we got her figured out finally. It only took me half the season, but I've never had that much before. It's a different motor, and that's with racing. You can come up with see different things every time you go out on the racetrack, and that's a new one for me. But it hasn't been smoking as bad, so I'm happy for that.
Yeah, it was a great battle between you and Nick, like you alluded to. Two champions going to battle for that prestigious crown. Talk more about that race and how it unfolded and how you were able to pull it off.
Yeah, when we had a really good start, I thought it was a good side-by-side start. When I pulled them out of two, I knew I didn't want to get too far out front, and that's when you get in a little bit of trouble. So we had to stay within the pack and race him. And then all of a sudden he caught me. I'm like, oh, now I really got to race. He got next to me once. I missed my corner. If we want to reverse back of why that car wasn't handling good, it's because I broke in the street stock feature and the lower ball joint broke. So we ended up having to fix it in the pits before the figure eight race. And the car had developed a bind, so it didn't want to turn. So a driver has to figure out how to make that car work, and I had to learn how to change my braking up a little bit to try to get it to hold the corners, just because it didn't want to turn. But we'll get her figured out and fixed up for next week. It's a figure eight car. You're gonna have that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned the super stock race that unfortunately you broke in. That we also had a memorial race that night for Stan the Man, Graciani. Yep. Another legend of the sport, a guy that we miss dearly, just like Terry. It's kind of a special night that we think of them both on the same night there. Can you tell us what your relationship was with Stan the Man and what he meant to you in the racing community as well?
Oh, absolutely. I kind of got learned who Stanley was originally through Greg Hauser, and I used to go over by his shop all the time. He had some gambling machines in there. Learned a lot just listening. Then through the years, as years passed, I think it was 2006, Randy and Jesse asked me to race the pink 49 car, and I brought her back to 141 when it was asphalt, and a lot of people's heads turns. They were happy to see that car back at that track, as well as Stanley. I mean, he used to come down to my pit, sit down, and I mean, I could go on in stories about him, but those memories there I'll never forget. And just how he talked, he was a straight shooter. He'd tell you just like it was. And anybody that knew Stanley would say, "Yep, if you messed up on the racetrack, he was going to tell you." So. I wanted to race that race. The last couple of years I did it with my son's dirt car. This year he's racing for Tony Wills. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to throw the old figure eighter in there and see what I can do with it. Knowing dang well that figure eights don't belong in street stock. But it was fun. I'm glad that I did it. I'm glad I got to race side by side with my son for a little bit. And then I'm also glad that I kicked his butt too, humble him up a little bit.
That is
Then,
a big deal, isn't it?
yeah, it was. He was smarting his mouth off a couple of weeks prior, saying that he beat all the Meyerhoffers. And I'm like, okay, that sounds like a challenge because he never raced against old dad yet.
Yeah, what's that like racing your son Philip? Obviously, he helps out you tremendously. You talk about that every time you're in victory lane, every opportunity you get. What's that like racing against him? And kind of tell us what he's been doing behind the scenes for you as well in your racing career.
So one thing, I got Philip into racing at 11 years old in a four banger. At 12, we moved him into Grand National. He's been running that for the last 3 years. But one thing I always said is, Dad is not gonna do everything for you. You have to learn it. And I'm telling you, for a 14-year-old kid, he can work on race cars better than some adults. And I'm proud of that. And that way, when he does do well and he starts feeling the cars, he knows exactly what to do on the race cars. Much less you see so many young drivers out there just running around on daddy's money and don't know nothing. Well, their career don't go very far. And then if someday he says, Dad, I don't want to race anymore, he's built lifelong skills, just mechanics, just what hard work does, the no quit attitude. And I always preach it to him. You know, for many years we were fast because nobody outworked me. I always had a great car when I showed up at the racetrack. And, you know, I try to install that with all three of my children.
I want to go back now to the beginning. I know we talked about recently, but I want to go back to the beginning. When did you know that you wanted to get into racing? Were you always a racing fan? How did you get into it? Tell us the beginning of your racing career and how you got into it.
Oh boy. Well, growing up right next to the racetrack, my dad never missed a race. We lived there every Thursday night. He'd start milking cows early, and I remember as a little kid in the truck, he'd drive through the ditch to get to the racetrack. We'd show up just as the street stocks were pulling out on the racetrack. My Uncle John started racing, and he stored his car by our farm. And I was a kid, and I can just remember sitting in that car and gripping the steering wheel and pretending I was shifting cars. I just fell in love with it. And then when I got old enough, I wanted to go racing, and we built an enduro car and went out there, and that was the start of it, enduro racing. And then we went into mini stock at 141, and then street stock and mid-am and dirt cars, and all the way up to super late models.
You've been at this a long time, man. Time's flying, man. You ain't no young ticket anymore, are you?
You ain't a shitting, Mark. I feel like these gray hairs aren't from my kids anymore. I think it's from all those race cars I got in the shop.
I want to talk more about you kind of coming up. So enduro, you kind of talked about, then you kind of went the dirt route. What was that like? And tell us more about kind of the stepping stones that you took along the way.
So the biggest thing was moving out from the 4-cylinder class into a street stock. We got a street stock. I learned a lot just with the rear wheel drives and the bigger tires, bigger motor. But then, yeah, winning. And winning's fun, but winning is like you always want to be better. You always want to progress. I like that lacrosse rule. You win a track championship, you got to move up or sit out a year. And basically that's what we were doing is every time we'd get good or win a championship, then we'd move up a class. The dirt thing came about running. Ariadne Beatty actually let me drive her car. Dion Wall, my brother-in-law, Clint Evans. You know, we had fun. And it's fun to go do well and pass cars and win races. And, you know, you want to be better. And when opportunities come to keep moving up or sponsorships, you get a little more, you do well. Like, hey, we can afford that because everybody knows in racing, it ain't cheap. And the time, that's the biggest thing, time. Your family sacrifices so much for you guys to go out and have fun at drivers. One of my main things I learned many years ago, you work 50 hours a week at work, 40 hours on the race car for 20 minutes of fun. And you do it all summer long. Still fun, still brings a smile to my face, and the next generation is like my son, or sons are racers, daughters are racers. Matter of fact, tonight, right before I sat down here, we were at the dirt track, and my daughter was practicing her street stock, and we're going to let Becca Shalley run it in a powder puff. Those are our next generations, these kids. Otherwise, if we don't have that, racing's going to die.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better. I don't know that I've ever heard it put that way, where you work that much for 20 laps or 20 minutes of fun. You really had me thinking when you said that. I've never heard it put that way before.
Yep, and that's what it is, because everybody's got a job, and you work that hard on race cars. After dinner, you go up to the shop, you play for a couple hours, and if you have some beers or you don't or what, it's all part of racing and the camaraderie you have with your crew. I had a full crew and I was racing late models, and now it's just me and my son, and mostly my son doing the work. But we're out there, the camaraderie, the work ethic, and then 20 minutes of going racing.
But you sure have gone out of your way and helped a lot of other people too to hone their craft, right?
Well, it's crazy to think that, and you look back at the career, and I remember, people asking me for advice when I was that one guy asking for advice and following other drivers, watching it on video and learning, soaking everything in. And now it has turned that people are following me or asking me for advice. And lately, my biggest thing has been giving opportunities. Like, Amber, my girlfriend, got her opportunity to race a dirt street stock. My daughter, she's getting her opportunity to race. Becca Shalley, my son's friend Kyler, ran the mechanics race. I'm giving those opportunities, hoping that they stay involved in racing. Because you look at the pits and it's dwindling, and we need these people to stay involved, because you never know when the next, hey, I want to do that. Just like I was that little kid. Hey, I want to do that. And, now I've been doing it for 20 some years later and still doing it.
Hey, I want to talk about your transition up onto the half mile. You've alluded to it a few times here, going from street stock to the late model there, finding success pretty early. I know you really enjoyed racing that late model. What was that like, making that move up to the half mile?
At first, it was intimidating because I didn't know much about a tube chassis car, but I learned quick. And the work ethic, you keep working on it and learning how to do it, how to fix it, and what does what. Nobody worked harder than me on those cars, and it showed through the years, and we won a championship. Matter of fact, I backed out of figure eight racing for a little bit in there just to focus on that half mile car, and it paid off. And then obviously after Jeff passed away, there was always those pits nights. Jeff would come down and he'd be like, Mike, you got to come back race figure eight. You got to come back race figure eight. Come on. And, unfortunately it took him to pass away. And I'm like, all right, I got to get this figure eight car back together. And I went out there and I won 4 or 5 in a row, and I was hooked. I'm like, God dang it, now I'm back full-time in this figure eight class. And I still love it. I know Mark always says he's circular, but, I love racing in circles. What that figure eight class does, it is fun. I wish we had more cars like years ago, but it's still fun. It's a challenge.
I also want to touch on super late models because I don't want to say people don't remember, but people may have forgotten that you did race super late models for a little bit in the Maynard Motorsports number 96 car. You got a chance to do that. What was that experience like, hopping into the premier division, I guess we'll call it, at Wisconsin International Raceway?
Well, prestigious alone, that's the top class, right? The competition is better. Learning about shocks was huge. And right, I was given an opportunity, and I did the best I could with it. We raced for 2 years in 14 and 15. Backed out of it. Me and Matt are still friends. You know, we just went our separate ways, and I went back to limited late model, and again had a pretty good successful run there. And then Robbie Bobby gave me an opportunity, and we went and raced the red, white, and blues at Kakana, and I went up to Norway with it, and I got another new experience with a different car, and it was great. I loved it. If it were up to me and I had the funding, I'd go racing super late model tomorrow. But you know, that's extremely expensive, another time consuming deal. Then, you know, if I were to be back on the half mile, which I do wish someday that might happen, late model is just a better suit, just because of cost.
You know, there was back in the day when I made that reply on one of my videos, and it actually talked you into entering that Big 8 race, and you won the dang thing.
Yeah, we did. That was a fun race, and every once in a while it'll be on YouTube, so I catch myself watching it again or whatever. My son likes to watch a whole bunch of races on YouTube. We got Berlin on the back right now. They were under red flag there for a minute, but we're always watching racing. We don't. It's crazy that this family is so into it. Like I said, my daughter was out practicing tonight her street stock.
Yeah, I want to talk about more about the late model experience here that you just brought up. Going back to late models there. You had some hard wrecks, not to talk about anything too bad, but you had some hard wrecks. I remember one time you kind of swung down low. Maybe it was even qualifying. Something broke and you kind of hit driver's side out to the outside wall there. That's one that always comes to my mind. One of the most vicious hits I've seen out there. You got the name Showstopper. I imagine it may be due to some of that, but can you tell us and the fans how you got that nickname, and maybe talk about some of those interesting moments on the track?
I'll touch on the first one you said. The left rear chairling arm broke right in front of Andy Cluck, and he was adamant he didn't touch me, and he did not. When it broke, it dug into the concrete, and it hit the wall and turn one driver's side, just like Jim Poggle. Luckily, since Jim passed away, safety has came a long way. You know, we wear Hans devices. We have a full containment seat. I had 2 nets in that car. I was on La La Land, and my ankles hurt because I broke all 3 pedals, and that car was junk. That is true. But safety is a big thing, and it came a long way. The Showstopper name came from Matt Panyard. And actually that I won on the half mile in my late model. I got out of the car and I was running down the front stretch. Matt Roll was following me with his microphone trying to get an interview, and all I said to Matt was, "I'll be right back. Give me 10 minutes. I got a figure 8 race to win." Well, lo and behold, I won the figure 8 race. So I had both cars down there, and Matt Panyard said those are Showstopper moves. And the next week I was a Showstopper. I have no idea that, and it took off. Kind of cool nickname, I thought.
And you can't top that either. I mean, winning both races like that, yeah, man. You stopped the show, you stunk up the show that night. I guess we would say too. Like, those are some of the greatest moments.
Yeah, it was. I'll never forget that, because the next week it was all over the place. Everybody was talking about Showstopper. I'm like, what the heck? But it's
Yeah, I forgot about that, man. Watching you run all the way back to the pits, man, to get to your figure 8 car, man. You had to have been winded by the time you got there.
Yeah, well, you know, you want to talk about a hard wreck. Me and Will Timmers wrecked on the last lap of a race one time, and I was a little bit woozy. Matter of fact, my left shoulder was popped out of my socket. But they weren't talking me out of getting in that figure 8 car. Of course, I went race figure 8. And about lap 2 or 3, I realized something's wrong with my arm. So I propped it in the roll cage, and I raced one-handed that race. But then after, I had to go to the hospital, and they had to get her back in there and make sure no other damage was done. I love racing. I'm there. Might as well race them.
Hey, I want to talk about something recently. If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine too. Recently, there was an accident that you had that presents kind of a challenge for you. Again, if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. But what I wanted to talk about is, regardless of what happened, your passion in racing, that has never slowed you down. Your dedication. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it because that could have easily derailed it or made you think twice about it, but I don't think it ever did. And I want to commend your dedication to the sport, and maybe you can talk about some of the challenges if you wish.
So, right, I got no grippers, so that makes it a little bit difficult to drive. I can do it. I mean, Lyle Novak does it. He don't have any fingers, no hand. Um, in my mind, I am not disabled. Is things a little harder for me? Yes, of course. Do I get frustrated? Believe me, my family can tell you I get frustrated. Um, when it comes to competition and racing, again, I don't think I have a disability. Is it harder? Yes. I used to pride myself on never spinning out. I'd had the most best car control out there. But I can tell you, I've spun out more times getting banged around because I got my left hand in there. This thing's not working. Um, and that's frustrating to me, but I'm still out there competing and I'm still winning races and trying my best. Just like, my competitor next to me. He don't look at me and say, oh, he's got one hand, I'm going to take it easy on him. No, he's racing me. He's a competition. Um, and, it happens. Like, that was at first devastating. I didn't know if I even had a hand. It was so wrapped up. But then when I saw I had a thumb, I'm like, well, that's good. Then I had this thing. I told them to cut it right off because it didn't move. But now with therapy, we got it to move and I can grip. And, if I can grip that, I can hold the steering wheel. And I guess, no, it didn't slow me down. I couldn't wait to get back behind the wheel. I just needed the doctor to say it was okay. So that year I came back and we won 3 races there. I told myself, well, they said you can go back to work with restrictions. That's good enough to get in a race car. And it panned out that year, and we won the EVA Destruction and won a couple Thursday nighters. It was just special, and knowing that, what I went through, and still, people don't realize I don't have feeling in this hand, and the nerves go wild after a race. And after the race, if they see me shaking or something like that, it's because I can't control that. But again, you ain't gonna peel me out of a race car.
That's just remarkable, man. I commend you for that and your way of thinking in a lot of ways, just of life. I've gotten to know you pretty good because it's a good thing because you've won a lot. You've come see me quite a bit down on the front stretch or in the X there, and got to know you a little bit. And I remember getting pretty emotional when you pulled into victory lane that first time after the accident. And
Yeah.
I like I said, I'm just getting goosebumps thinking about it. The other thing you mentioned there was Jeff Wilrobbie, and I know we're kind of having you on to talk about Terry Van Roy, your career, Stan the Man, but Jeff Wilrobbie. The Eve of Destruction is coming up here in less than a month. We lost Jeff a few years ago. That was a tough loss there. Your figure 8 class is really tight. It's a tight knit group of drivers. Talk about being in the figure 8 class. What brings you guys all together, the camaraderie, and then also talk more about Jeff Wilrobbie.
So right, recently the class is experiencing stuff that I haven't seen in a while, but we're tight because of that reason. We know that we race a race that has potential danger. I look at it as I can also get hurt getting out of bed in the morning. I'm plenty safe in that race car. I believe Jeff was safe in that race car. It was a freak accident that happened. I find solace knowing that he passed away doing what he loved. And a lot of people forget he was leading that race when that happened. What a great way to go out if you're going to go out. Jeff, again, meant a lot to me. Got to know him through family and his dad. Lenny's still comes down in the eve of destruction. He still sits in the back of my truck. And just, it's like family. And Jeff, again, when I was racing on the half mile, every Thursday he would come down, Mike, you got to come back race figure eight. You got to come back race figure eight. And he loved that class. And the only reason he got into it is because when he built that car, his car was too heavy. And he was racing street stock with it. And then he converted it to figure eight, and it worked out for him too. He's champion. So, every driver has memories of a certain person. If you all remember back in '96, or when did Jim Poggle pass away? I remember that because I was young. We were coming from the farm, and they were under red flag conditions, and we're like, "What happened?" And then, qualifying. I remember that too. So and the dangers. But again, you get hurt waking up in the morning and fall on the ground if you're sleepy.
Great attitude, man. Good answer there. Hey, here's a question for you. Are them cars too fast out there? Should they have the slick tires on them? What's your opinion on that?
The figure eight class, what would slow them down is more cars. More cars, better competition. Right now, they're fast, but they're the same as fast as they were years ago. More cars would slow it down and give competition, how you pass them, have to use your head, the intersection. There's a lot that goes on when you have 15 cars, like it was years ago when I first started. Now it's just racing around with the 8 of us, and it's still a competition, still a race, don't get me wrong, but we don't have the passing because there's a slower guy. We don't have the intersection by lap 3 to worry about. The intersections come with a straggler, or if you get way out front, or if it's really strung out, but that hasn't happened because we are pretty equal, all of us.
Yeah, I want to talk more about the Eve of Destruction because that's the big one coming up here. Everyone wants to win that one, especially the figure eight race. There's a lot of things that go into it. I mean, the football game gets crazy. That's a lot of fun. There's so many parts of that event. I've been so lucky over the last 3 or 4 years to be able to call that event. I'm looking forward to it. I don't want the season to end just yet and go into Eve of Destruction, but I know that is a thing that's near and dear to your heart, the Eve of Destruction. The fans love it. The place is standing room only. What do you want to talk about with the Eve of Destruction?
Well, every figure eight driver will tell you the Eve of Destruction is our Super Bowl. It's our chance to win some money, to race in front of a crowd like that. That figure eight race, the 25 lapper, is important to all of us. The other stuff, some people take it more personal. I enjoy being in every division. I've been fortunate enough to win a lot at the Eve. I've been fortunate enough to wreck a lot of crap at the Eve and just get out of there with some minor bumps and bruises. We do it for that crowd. We do it for the rise. Matter of fact, at the Eve of Destruction, when I had my udder bus, I rolled it over and I did a cartwheel on it. If you all remember back when I used to do cartwheels when I won, it's because Terry Van Roy said, "Did you do a cartwheel on your bus?" I said, "I sure did." And he goes, "There's your Carl Edwards." So then the next year, after winning a race, you all remember I used to do cartwheels. I got asked if I would do one again. And I'm like, I don't know. My old body, I don't know if I could get it all the way around. But, Eve of Destruction, that's where that came. And I remember when I did it, the crowd just erupted. And that's the stuff. That's why you do that kind of crazy stuff. It's fun. It's tiring at the end. At the end, you're just ready to have a beer and relax and breathe. It's over. We had a great season, or hopefully you can say that. Maybe make some money and bring home a big trophy. But it's cool. I love that race.
Yeah, man, you got the bus figure eight race. You got the trailer race, which is one of my favorites. The things that you and the other drivers and teams come up with as creativity just amazes me every year.
I wish it would be better like years ago when Jeff Swears would do it. Danny would have some cool stuff. I had cool buses. we really used to put a lot of time and effort into those things. I don't know why it stopped. Time maybe. We remember we used to have that whole week after the season ended. Now the eve of destruction is the very next week. So even a couple of years ago, Boffman hit me in the intersection, and I'm like, Jared, why'd you hit me? Now we got to work on our stupid figure 8 cars to get them ready for the eve, and when we have all this other stuff to get ready. But I always like same thing with the trailer car. I was one of the first one. I think I was the first one to bring. We all used to race our figure 8 cars, and then in the winter we'd have to fix them all because they'd all be smashed up in that trailer race. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna bring this van. And I'm gonna paint it up like the Mystery Machine. And I never forget, we were going down the front straightaway, and the steering wheel was vibrating from the fans cheering for that Mystery Machine van. And then the next week, the next year, someone else brought a different car. Now we don't even race our figure 8 cars. And that's okay, because figure 8 cars are race cars, and parts are expensive. Those other cars can be thrown away or recycled, however you want to look at it.
Hey, man, what's up with the 32? What's up with that number?
Oh boy. So my original number was 21, but that was way back before transponders, and you couldn't have like numbers. So a driver by the name of Chris Runroll had 21, so I had to change it. Well, my football number was 32. So 32. Cool, right? Well, my dad raced 32 before I was even born, so that kind of fell into play. And then my son races 21. My sister is 21. And I don't know if she remembers me being 21 or not. She was awfully little because we're 11 years apart. But yeah, that 21 has been around for a while. And then, I'm 32. And then the second year I ran 32, if you guys remember, a driver by the name of David Stremme had the Trim Spa car. Well, I went to Wally and I bought a Trim Spa box, and I brought that 32 to my graphic guy, and I said, "Can you make this?" And he did, and so that's why I have that 32 look, and I've had it ever since.
Well, man, I can't tell you how much it means for you to come on this thing, talk about everything that you've talked about, what you mean to the racing community, for us, just as fans. It's just incredible, all the racing you do, all of the things that you've passed down, continue to pass down. I'm glad we were able to touch on that as well. Just appreciate the hell out of you, man. I can't wait to see you tomorrow night and every Thursday, and for the Eve of Destruction coming up here. Just appreciate you, man. Can't wait to see you.
Oh, I appreciate you guys. I'm fans of yours too. You know that all. I listen to all your podcasts and the Facebook videos. I mean, solves a lot of problems when you pull up the videos. But I appreciate you having me on. It's pretty cool. Thank you.
And you got the coldest beer down in the pits, man. That's why I like stopping by you also, you and Mickey over there.
That's because we got great bar sponsors.
Actually, I just thought of something. You've teamed up with Mickey Shalley over the last few years, and now you're teaming up with that quarter mile late model, and even have won some races, each of you. So how's the quarter mile late model going, and how did that team come about?
What an awesome deal. Our mutual friend, Jordan Beyer, won a 602 crate off of one of those raffles. I even told him, I'm like, Beyer, you got to sell that thing. That's worth a lot of money. I don't know. What do you think? Put it in your late model. Would you team drive with Mickey if you did that? So he's the one that put the birdie in the ear. And next thing you know, it's dropped off in my shop, and me and Philip are putting a motor in. Well, then the car ends up staying by Mickey, and Mickey does a lot of maintenance on it because we got all this other dirt cars going. And so we teamed up, and it's been really good. Me and Mickey, I think, drive alike. We are great friends. Matter of fact, he was at the dirt track tonight because his daughter was driving my street stock. And it's just such a great friendship we built, and good competition. He's just as competitive as I am. I was so happy to see him get a feature win. And obviously for myself to put it in victory lane and having the better runs as I got into it more. It's hard when you kind of switch every week back and forth. But then once I got my butt in that seat and started feeling the car, I knew the adjustments that it needed. Mickey always agreed on it, and I think he's really showed it last week too, how much potential the car has, and I think it's got more into it. He'll be in it Friday night at Norway, and then I'll be in it for Plover.
Yeah, and what a great class to get into too. That class has really grown
That
over the
class
last
is
year.
taken off. I agree with you guys 100% because the cost effectiveness, used tires, the crate motor, which I wasn't a fan of, but I am. You're not getting beat by the motor. You're getting beat by the car or the driver. So it's a great class. The camaraderie of that class has been awesome. These guys racing with them, top notch guys, and just having fun. I forgot to mention part of that deal with that motor. Rob Thompson was second place and he won the dressings and he gave them to us too. So there's a lot that went into that car. It's my car. But yeah, the engine and the dressings aren't. Mickey's transmission, it's just we all threw that car together not knowing what it would do, but we thought that we could figure it out, and we have. And again, it's so much fun.
I absolutely love that, man. I'm glad I thought about it there at the end. A great way to end this thing. Hey, thank you again, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
See you tomorrow, everybody.
Mark, I've been wanting to have the Showstopper on for quite a while now. I'm glad we were able to make it happen, and good timing with Stan the Man race going on, Terry Van Roy Memorial going on. I'm glad we were able to talk about those two guys, Jeff Woolrobbie. Quarter mile late model class was great to hear about at the end there. Just a great interview. A guy who does a lot of racing himself, a lot for the racing community. Just a great family too. They're all doing it. His son, his daughter, his girlfriend, his sister, his brother-in-law. I mean, I know I'm missing somewhere in there, but they're all doing it.
They're all there. So yeah, and everybody's all having fun doing it all at the same time, man. So yeah, we appreciate Mike and everything that he does for the racing community out there for sure, man.
Yep. Well, hey man, let's talk about last week out at Wisconsin International Raceway. Had a couple of those memorial races. We'll talk about more about those. In the Wisconsin Sport Trucks, Casey Vanderloop ran away with that thing.
Yeah, he was long gone. Yeah, he was had track position, got on there, and yeah, Kyle Koala just couldn't catch him. Where Mason Kalmans finished third there. Couldn't catch him, man. He had too big of a lead. So, yep, congratulations to Casey on that win there.
Yeah, and then the Sizzling 4 race, Justin Fickle ran away with that one too. There was kind of a theme for the first couple of features of the evening.
Like that one was a stinker, man. He had a half a lap lead on that one. So yeah, I was saying the last 3 laps, you can slow down now, but boy, they sure got the cars out there for that. There's tons of cars in that series, man.
Oh man, there's a lot. And we've talked about it a few times on here too. They've been kind of the most consistent, clean racing division out there, although they had a 2 or 3 week period where maybe a little bit of roughness, but overall they have the biggest car count and they're going green and checkered quite a bit, or one caution maybe. Not bad for having that many cars out there.
Yeah, we kept them all on their wheels and nobody burned up, and it was pretty much a normal night for the Sizzling Fours.
Yeah. Quarter mile late models, 2 winners there, 2 young drivers, Ty Feetzer and then Caden Kostichka, who we've had on a few weeks ago, picks up his first career win. He was named the Duke of WIR a few weeks ago, but as far as his first feature win, he picked that up in the quarter mile late models. That was cool to see, kind of talking about the next generation, seeing the next generation in that class take 2 features.
Yeah, Rick Spoo got second in both of them, man. He was right behind him, just couldn't pull out the victory. He got 2 second places. So good run by Rick Spoo out there, both races.
No doubt. I don't know what else you can say about this guy. I feel like I'm saying his name every week on here. I'm interviewing him every week. Alex Stumpf. He wins the late model feature again.
But I'll tell you what, TJ Sporowski has found some speed, man. And them two are going to battle this out all the way to the end of the year. And Brazen got a 3rd place. We know how Brazen Bennett is also out there. So, yeah, we're going to see how this ends up these last 3 weeks there.
It's going to be exciting, that's for sure.
Yeah, right.
Super late model. JJ Vanderloop got his first super late model win out there. There was an incident between Chad Butts and Andy Monday. Just hard racing. Some of the best racing that I saw there. I think back to Chad and Jordan Thiel a few weeks ago. That was probably the best race I've seen in many years out there with the crossovers, and we've talked about that. Andy Monday and Chad Butts rivaled that until the unfortunate contact, but great for JJ Vanderloop to pick up that first win.
Yeah, and Taylor Vanderboss was right there, man. He was right underneath of a thought, holy smokes, we're gonna have a drag race for the end, yeah. But yeah, first win for JJ out there, man. And I talked to him afterwards. I said, man, that kid just keeps getting better and better. The more seat time you give him, the better off he is, man. So yeah, he was rather impressive, and I won $5 because I picked him to win that. So I was happy there.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Taylor Vandermoss. I have him in my notes here with a great run, well-deserved run. That team's been working hard towards that, so great to see them finish in second. And then I finished the memorial races for the end here. So in the super stock division, Ethan Beatty won the Stan the Man Memorial. He kind of too, started out front and stayed there and had a great run.
How about 24 cars showed up, man? That's just like the old times, man. I'd love to see that. Had heat races and everything. So, yeah, they're out there, man. Some of them are collecting dust, but for a big race like that, they came out of the woodwork, and we had a full pack quarter mile, man. It was it was very good. Love that. But yeah, that 35 is stout, man. That was yeah, well deserved win there.
Well deserved. And then you just heard from him, the showstopper, Mike Meyerhofer Jr. won the Terry Van Roy Memorial, but it was a great race with Nick Osberg there.
Yeah, very much so. That's somebody to beat right there when Nick's out there, So, yeah, so that was always entertaining. A lot of people get up and they leave, and they're missing a heck of a figure eight race out there. They definitely entertain us at the end there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we got another action-packed week coming up tomorrow night. Racing starts at 6:30. It's going to be the Action Auto Blue Race. Also sponsoring the night is Appleton Breakfast Rotary Club and ABC Supply Company. We thank those sponsors every week because we can't do without them. But talking about the Blue Race, we're going to crown some champions tomorrow night, Mark. So some drivers will be passing the torch here. So it looks like I'll kind of just go down the list here. In the figure eights, Craig Van der Wettering is currently leading that by 19 points over Jordan Grisanelli. And this is just red, white, and blue. It's a pretty close battle in the Sizzling Fours as well. Jeremy Girapata leads Shane Schwaller by 13. Jordan Fickle is 16 back, and Ben Schulte is 17 back. In the Super Stocks, Mike King Jr. is leading that by 3 points over Ed Howard, 5 points over Dylan Wenzel, 6 points over Mike Gilson, and 10 points over Trevor Howard. So that is extremely tight there in the Super Stocks.
Anybody could win that one, man. Just get the victory and see where the points lay afterwards, man. But wow, that's tight.
In the late models, we just talked about him. JJ Vanderloop has been playing double duty. He's been racing the pro late model and the super late model. JJ leads the late model red, white, and blue points currently by 6 over Alex Stumpf, 9 over Brazen Bennett. TJ Sparowski is 17 back, and Brian Henry is 44 back. Something that was brought up this week is anyone won in multiple divisions out there in the for red, white, and blue, and Terry Van Roy, Super Stocks, Figure Eights has done it, and then there's someone else that's done it as well. Craig Van der Wettering, also similar situation there. So there's not many on that list, but JJ Vanderloop could become one on that short list there.
That'd be awesome, man. So we'll see if he can pull that off tomorrow night, huh?
Could you imagine being a 2-time red, white, and blue state champion? In 2 different divisions in the same year? That's hard to fathom there.
Yeah, but I tell you what, if you're good and you're getting results, it could happen. So we'll see if history will be made tomorrow night.
Yep. And talking about the super late models, Grant Griesbach currently leads red, white, and blue by 6 points over Sawyer Efforts, 7 over JJ Vanderloop. So he's right there. Chad Butts is 14 back, and Casey Johnson is 24 back, which really with Chad Butts and Casey Johnson, they had an incident in the white race. It's amazing that they're only 14 and 24 back. And every time during this time of year for the blue race, I think back to a few years ago when I believe it was Jesse Oudenhoven who ended up winning the red, white, and blue. He was 4th or 5th in points going into the night. Time of Jesse was leading, he had an issue. Second and third place also had an issue. And all of a sudden it was Rowdy Audi taking home the championship. So anyone can take a hold of that thing too if there's some misfortune or if you just perform really well.
Yeah, with that Rowdy, man, everything had to fall just the way it fell, and that's just the way it happened that he ended up winning that to become a red, white, and blue. So, when you come in the front gate, and you look at that, all that list of all the red, white, and blue winners, man. Like I've given my age away. I've been there. I was there for the first one in '72, man, and quite successful, man. It's still rolling along for the 54th annual.
54th annual. And then the Wisconsin Sport Trucks here, Mason Kelmus leads that by 4 points over Brady Vanderloop, 11 over Kyle Quilla, 12 over Casey Vanderloop, and 18 over Grant Gilbert. And speaking of Grant Gilbert, congratulations to him and that whole team and his family for picking up his first win over the weekend up at Norway. That's a team, a driver that has shown a bunch of progression over the years, especially this year. He's come close to winning at Wisconsin International Raceway as well. So he picked up that big win over the weekend at Norway.
Yeah, the last couple of years we found him on his lid, and spinning out and everything like that. But he's learned the car control, man, and then he goes up to Norway, gets a win. That had to been exciting as all get out. So congratulations to that team. Hey, you know what happens when you get your first win? They seem to keep piling up afterwards. So we'll see if that works out tomorrow night, huh?
Yeah, they sure do, man. I also want to give congratulations to Brazen Bennett, who was the late model champion out at Golden Sands. Congratulations to the 9 team and Brazen on winning that championship.
Absolutely. Yep. Goes out there and he's had just a stellar year out there at Golden Sands. So well deserved there. And congratulations to Brazen and that team.
Yeah. Also, moving on, we were out at Tomah Sparta Speedway this past Friday, Mark. I'm proud to say that was the last asphalt track in the Midwest that I needed to hit, so that was exciting for me to go to. The Big 8 Series was there, so that was cool to see them racing around that track. Milan Borntrager won that race, and he kind of started up front and had to fend off some competitors there. Jesse Bernhagen was probably the best car, but he had a right front go down on that last restart there, and he nursed it back home. But that would have been an interesting battle between Milan and Jesse there, but unfortunately we didn't get to see it. How about the run from Jerry Miller? He finishes second in the race. Jake Guiley, who has been great at that racetrack in the past, with the new configuration, he was kind of figuring things out. He came a long way to finish in the 3rd spot there. So it was just a cool place to be out there watching some racing.
Racing fans should try that, like what we did. Hey, go check out a racetrack somewhere, and go in and check out the facility and the track food and talk to some people and see how they run their program. And, we checked out that whole place, and, the new configuration of the racetrack seemed to make it a second faster out there. And all the drivers said, wow, what a racy track it is now. And, yeah, nothing but good stuff coming out of the Tomah Sparta over there, and sure enjoyed the place, man. The racetrack's in a little hollow, and yeah, we soaked that right up, man. And yeah, appreciate the hospitality and everything that happened out there. And yeah, that's the way to go, man. Is like, hey, one day let's go check out a new racetrack, and that's what we did. And it was awesome Friday night, man.
It was awesome. It was cool to see that place. I'm sure we'll be back in the near future. Like you said, thank you to the hospitality from the track and in the Big 8 Series. They were great, and it was fun to be out at a new racetrack with you, buddy.
yeah, something else, ain't it? You just check out the whole facility and everything. And it took a little time to get out there, you know. Some people would say, well, why did you just go to Golden Sands? No, that wasn't the point of it, man. You know, we wanted to go check out a new racetrack, and we checked that off the list. And so, yep, was happy that we showed up for that one, and it was a good show.
It was a very good show. Um, Anything else short track wise that you want to hit on before we move on into National Series stuff?
I think we got everything covered that I wanted to talk about, man. So let's carry on.
All right, let's talk about IndyCar this past weekend. Um, Power ends up winning the race, which is huge because he's still doesn't have a contract for next year, which is kind of amazing with all his accomplishments that he's done. So Power wins it over Lundgaard, Palou, Ferrucci. Ended up wrecking hard. Daly also wrecked hard after contact with Rasmussen. They made contact a few times over a lap or so, maybe two, before Daly went hard into the barriers. It was a hard hit for Daly, and I know he had some comments about that. But Dixon and Newgarden made some contact where Newgarden spun. Dixon was actually given a penalty for avoidable contact there. Unfortunately for Pato O'Ward, who came in second in points, he had an issue, and Palou was named the champion for 2025, his third straight, fourth overall. It's now Palou, Ted Horn, Sebastian Bourdais, and Dario Franchitti are the only drivers to achieve a three-peat. He is now tied with Mario Andretti, Bourdais, and Franchitti for third on the all-time championship list with 4. He's behind only AJ Foyt with 7 and Scott Dixon with 6. So he is definitely joining some elite history there, and he still is pretty young in his career. So this will be interesting to see where Alex Palou goes.
What a year he had, man. You know, Indy 500, and he got out of the box early, man. Was winning everything early, man. And what a year. Hard to beat him there. So 2 weeks to go in the IndyCar series, you know, and they're just going to be running for victories. So yeah, the Milwaukee race, the championship's not on the line. It's just there for the checkered flag and the trophy. So which I'll be there for sure on that Sunday on the 24th.
Yep, I'm hoping to be there as well. We'll get some more information on that next week, over the next week and a half or so. So we're 10 days out from that. It's the Sunday, July 24th race where Scott McLaughlin was the winner in 2024 there. So they actually did a doubleheader last year, didn't they, out there, Mark?
It was on a Labor Day weekend. And,
Yep.
you know, we were going to hit one or both of them, and I never made it to either one of them. So it never worked out. But unfortunate there, you know. Tough weekend. Try to pull off a doubleheader. Glad to see that they came back to Milwaukee. I know Iowa's gotten shuffled off the list, and I hope Milwaukee can hang on and be on the 26th list. So, but otherwise, yeah, I'll be down there to support that. And if you've never seen IndyCar in Milwaukee, just go down by the track and just, you know, watch these guys how they scoot around these corners. It's just amazing. It's worth the price of admission to walk down by the track and watch them go flying.
Yeah, it's just incredible there. Pato O'Ward, by the way, was the other winner of the races down there last year, that Labor Day double. So it was O'Ward and McLaughlin. Yeah, I remember the time that you and I went there. I was blown away by them going around the Milwaukee Mile. The Milwaukee Mile is just historic in itself, and then you put these Indy cars on there, and a caution didn't come for a while. So you got to really pay attention to keep up with the action there during pit sequences and all that. And hey, do you remember who won the race when we went down there?
I do not. I'll take a shot and say I'd say Scott Dixon. Probably that would be my guess.
Will Power. So he just won this past weekend. Will Power won when you and I were down there. I'll always remember that was my first IndyCar race. So I'll always remember who won that one. But Will Power ended up taking that one home.
Wasn't that 2015, man? That's a long time ago, man.
Something like that. Yeah. It doesn't seem that far out, but it was probably 10 years ago or so. Yeah, I would say that's probably accurate.
So yeah, I remember that when it came back, and then it went away, and now IndyCar's back again, and let's hope it stays on the schedule for next year.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's got to get out support if they can. We need the Milwaukee Mile to keep going. The State Fair is working hard at getting it going. The racing series are working hard to keep it going. So please support the Milwaukee Mile race here in 10 days. We'll talk about it more next week as well. But it's just crucial to help support the State Fair and the racing series, keep the Milwaukee Mile going, because it wasn't looking so good a few years back, so we need to keep it going since it came back, and we need to show up and support that place.
It was crazy just seeing the other night. There was a concert there, and that place was flooded out, and the water was halfway up the wall, and just like, what am I looking at? Also, that's State Fair Park, and it's just like that was jaw dropping in itself. So, and I didn't recognize the place when that was all going on, man. So, thank goodness nobody lost their life or hurt. Nobody got hurt. A lot of damage and a lot of pain and sorrow down there in that area, but no loss of life, and we're thankful for that down there.
Very thankful for that. Yeah. Thoughts and prayers and everything going out to them down there, because they've had a heck of a week down there and continue to get rain. So hopefully that stops down there and everything can get back to normal. And that's another reason to support it, is all the additional work that they have to put in, and the time and need that the community is in. So what better way to show your support than show up for that IndyCar race?
Absolutely. Can't say that better there, Lauren. You did a good job there.
Moving on to the NASCAR series, then we'll start with the truck series out at Watkins Glen. Heim won stage one. Carruth broke an axle, and Busch broke a steering box in stage one as well.
Yeah, that was the end of Kyle Busch. It was just strange that the steering box, and I guess you kind of got to have that, right, man, to get around.
I would think, yeah, you're gonna need that.
Yeah.
Honeycutt would also break a transmission. Chandler Smith would pit with damage. Wood would crash hard. Strategy started getting split here. Some would stay out under that caution. Chastain had a fuel pump issue just after that. Zilich got stuck in a sand trap after contact with Garcia, who also spun with them. Rhodes would win the second stage by staying out.
Yeah, stayed out with an idea that he was going to try to gain the track position. And so, yeah, it looked like the 99, who's really struggling to try to fight to get in here, get into the championship round. So that's what, try to get some points there.
Breidinger would start on fire there in the last stage as well.
And that was a fire. There was no doubt about that. That thing went woof really fast, got hot.
Oh, yeah. Enfinger and Riggs would brush the wall. Enfinger would start falling after that. Tanner Gray was trying to keep in front of Ty Majeski. Unfortunately, Tanner Gray would go around after some contact there. Rhodes would end up losing a wheel and spin out, so that was trouble for the 99 team. It would go into the first overtime, where Mozak would spin. Perez and Sutton would also spin. Bell would go out of fuel and pits under this caution here. Overtime 2, Mozak would spin again and collects Enfinger and Garcia this time. And finally, overtime number 3 would end it, where Heim holds on to win over Hemrick, Ruggiero, Bell, Ankrum, Sammy Smith, Ty, Majeski, Zilich, Mills, and Riggs.
There was so much action. That third stage was crazy, man. It was hard to keep up with. Hey, when that Rhodes had that wheel come off, and that was a hard lick into that fence, man. But it looked like the hub was still attached to it. But recently they found out that the crew chief is going to get penalized for a week for something that happened with that. I thought that was kind of strange that the tire didn't fall off. I thought the hub was still attached to it when it went.
It was something with the axle. Something the axle broke or wasn't put on correctly or something, and that's why the crew chief is getting suspended here.
Isn't that something we're going through trends of axles and there's always a trend of something that's going on and so with the axle thing. Hey, that other one with Ty taking out the 15. Once when there was a block, and Ty had a run on him, and all of a sudden Tanner Gray just decided that he was going to come back the other side, and Ty was apologetic for it, and man, and I tell you what, I actually giggle about it because he went into the fence and he went and did a complete 360. All of a sudden, it was one of these like, here's the car, here's the truck, do a 360, and then it just changed the whole front end of the truck, and he was still, pointing in the right direction and going. It's just amazing of how much it changed the front of that truck. It's not funny, but it sure looked that way. It was entertaining. So unfortunate for him there. Boy, I tell you what, we've always seen it. Once all of a sudden somebody wants to block, and if you don't do it just right, guess what? It's gonna cost you, and that's just exactly what happened to Tanner Gray there.
Yeah. Perez would have the fastest lap there, 72.761, which equals 121.219 miles per hour. They are heading into Richmond this weekend, where Ty Majeski is the defending winner. We might as well make our picks right now for the Truck Series. Mark, hey, you get to go first.
You're kidding. All right, I'll take it. Who won there last year? I haven't picked them yet this year, so guess what? I haven't picked him yet, so what a good time to take Ty Majeski at the truck race at Richmond Friday night.
I am going to take someone who I also haven't picked this year and has a win in the Xfinity Series out at Richmond. I'm going to take Chandler Smith.
So, yeah, that'll be a good battle right there. You picked a Ford there, dude, so I'll have to be careful there.
Well, so did you. So
Ford on Ford.
The interesting thing about that is I thought about picking Riggs. Riggs might be the one to watch down there this weekend.
Well, everyone, Heim time is just like, oh my God, who's going to beat this guy? I mean, he's got bonus points coming out of his ears, and don't know, but got to perform, man. Got to peak at the right time. Bad luck can show its hand, So, but right now, Heim time is the guy they got to beat this year.
Heim time is now, and he could have even more bonus points with all that he's dealt with and lost throughout the year. So that's incredible.
It would be a shock that if he doesn't win this championship, because he's just been that dominant. But once again, somebody can peak at the right time, man, pull it off. But right now, it's Heim time. Yep.
It is, and we should mention that this is the last race before we get going into the playoffs here for the Truck Series. Excuse me. So the points kind of shake out like this. So Ty Majeski did clinch this past weekend, so he is in the playoffs here. Still waiting to hear with the Stuart Friesen thing. Nothing has really come out. From what I understand, is they're kind of waiting to see if Friesen could race even the last race of the round. So they're kind of waiting, even though Honeycutt has been announced the driver going forward for the rest of the year. They still got that other truck, and Friesen get back in the second truck there and try to advance. So from my understanding, that's how it's shaking down. I don't know when we'll get more information on that. I would assume I would have thought before the race on Friday, where we got 1 day before the race here, Thursday left. So I don't know when we're going to hear about that. But anyway, if Friesen is not a part of the cut, Ty Majeski is clinched. So it's going to be Corey Heim, Lane Riggs, Chandler Smith, Daniel Hemrick, Tyler Ankrum, Raja Karuth, Grant Enfinger, Ty Majeski. And Caden Honeycutt is 65 above the cut. And then Jake Garcia is only up 11. Ben Rhodes is down 11. Gio Ruggiero is minus 21. Tanner Gray is minus 61. and then on back it's down from there. So probably going to see a lot of strategy with someone trying to do a Hail Mary and make it into the playoffs.
Well, it's looking like a Garcia Rhodes deal for points, that's going to try to get into that last set possibly. But if somebody below that hasn't won yet, that just destroys that whole idea. So I always, the way I understood it, that Honeycutt is going to be in that 52 and he's going to be able to battle for the championship. I thought that was the word that I got out of it, but I don't know if there's some indecision that's with that. But I I don't see Friesen coming back. He sounds like he's broke up more than what we think, man. I mean, he's nice that he's home, but there are some really devastating injuries that he has, man. So we'll see if there's something announced there, but I think Honeycutt's going to stay in that 52.
Honeycutt's going to be in the 52, but again, from what I understand, is Friesen could slip into that 62 truck that they have, or something else for the remainder of the season. So Honeycutt's in the 52 for the remainder of the season. That we do know. But it's what happens with Friesen after that. I think what's going to happen is he's not going to make the cut. He's not going to race and go from there. But nothing has been official on that. I want to be clear on it.
Yeah, you're talking about that 62. I think Cole Butcher is going to be racing that 62. That was just announced recently.
Yep. He's going to be racing that, so that'll be exciting. But here, let's continue on here with the racing side of things. The Xfinity Series, Ryan Segan, Bilicki would make some contact in stage one and spin, and Allgaier would win it by staying out. Connor Zilich would win stage two.
Yeah, Zilich and SVG, just with their the way that was all going to run. That looked like those were the two. They started on the front row, and it looked like just the way that they were getting around there, that them were the ones that you had to beat. Naturally, those two.
Right, yeah. Creed spins, and amazingly, nobody else gets collected in that whole deal. SVG and a few others stay out under that caution. Zilich would make his way through traffic pretty quickly and was battling SVG for the lead. Unfortunately, that kind of went wrong. Zilich ran wide, came back onto the track, and the SVG was there, went hard into the wall.
I don't know how SVG would have got into that corner. He was already at a bad angle, and Zilich, he flew way wide off of there, and then come back and wow, SVG hit that wall so hard it took all four tires off the ground, and he seemed like he took it with a good attitude, man. That his teammate kind of smeared him out, but the 21 was coming up. Hill was coming up behind him, and Zilich finally, after a while, just lost patience there and made contact, man, hard contact on that last corner.
Hard racing. Hope they can remain friends there, because they've been friends. And I'll tell you what, they're going to have many more battles on road courses when Zilich makes it to the Cup Series with SVG and all that. It's been a blast to watch them. So unfortunate incident there, but I think they both know it's just hard racing, and hopefully that does not happen again.
Yep, that's for sure. We definitely know that if them two are out on a road course, they're probably going to run into each other. So we'll see that again.
Yeah. On the restart, Hill would bump Zilich out of the way. Zilich lost a bunch of ground and positions. He would kind of show his displeasure when there was a caution for debris.
I thought that, NASCAR could kind of frown on that, to have passing other cars to go up there and show your displeasure. Just like, you're pushing the limit right there. Hill just flat out just made contact and sent Zilich dumped him back to fifth place. But did you see how Zilich was slicing and dicing, and just amazing? I guess some guys race better when they're mad. It sure looked that way with him, man.
Like everyone.
Oh my God! All of a sudden he was there, and all of a sudden bang, back in the lead, and it's just like, wow, Zilich really showed his talents on that restart, man.
Yeah, the other big thing that would happen is Hill and McDowell would make some contact, and a huge wreck happens. I cannot believe that there are no spotters in that section of the track after all of the hard wrecks that we've seen. That is amazing. just feel like, have they not learned from past things? Multiple terrible wrecks, like I said there. Creed spun there earlier. I just think something needs to change there, and somehow we need to get a better view for those spotters on the track, because that sure is dangerous back there.
That's terrible, man. And they actually showed on TV where the spotters were. There's trees in the way, they over before the carousel. Um, so yeah, and then the spotters are over on the front side, showing it was through the trees on the other angle. So um, yeah, when you're talking safety and high speed like that, it's amazing that that's the way that that's set up there.
Well, we just talked about last week, and we've talked about it with Ty at the Dixieland or Gandridge Auto Group 250, excuse me, about how it's kind of a speedway in a way, kind of it kind of races like a speedway more than a road course. And you think back to the days where there were no spotters for practice and qualifying, and we've lost some people that way. So that's my point of, have we not learned from, and when I say we, we as a sport, have we not learned from our past about how there should be someone that can view the whole track, or at least in that area? I mean, you remember when Jeff Gordon wrecked back there a few years ago with Sam Hornish? Oh my gosh. Um, Michael McDowell, I think, wrecked back there in the past, just like he did this time. There has been horrendous wrecks back there. Somehow, that absolutely needs to change. We cannot afford that. And from what I understand, there were some spotters in that section, but it is not required.
And then they come around the corner, and you're watching them as they're driving away, and it's a big cloud of dust, and these guys are still on the hammer coming into there, wondering why a lot of these guys were like 10 seconds behind the wreck, and they pile into the whole pile, and just like, that creates injuries, man. That was a scary accident. That was there. 16 cars involved on that wreck, and a 45-minute red flag to fix the wall, fix the guardrail. Them guardrails don't hardly give, man. They're pretty stout there too.
Yeah, that red flag to fix the wall there. The other part of the incident is, McDowell and Hill. Hill's coming off of suspension the week prior. Some aggressive racing there. Um, I think I'm in the minority. When I first saw it, I thought McDowell kind of needs to give room there, because, yeah, maybe it was aggressive for Hill to get to the outside there, but he got there. And I think the helicopter view had it best, where you can see the wall jets out more. Yes, there's some more runoff, but when that runoff ends, all of a sudden that wall is there. I mean, you have all but a second to get back on the track there. So I think Hill was just trying to get back on the track because he saw the wall coming up there as they approached the end of that runoff. And yes, I understand that runoff is still there and there was more runoff, but if you use all that runoff, I don't see how you're going to make it back onto the track, or it's going to be close. So to
Well,
me, I thought initially McDowell needed to give more room, but it seems like the rest of the racing community and the analysts and experts think that it was just an aggressive move by Hill, which, after watching and seeing it, I can see their point.
yeah, but on that runoff, all of a sudden it ends, and then there's grass that's there. So, the strips of grass that are inside the guardrail, so you got to get back onto the track there. And yeah, that was tough racing, but I think Austin Hill's got an attitude, man. he got all his points taken away, and he looked like he wanted to get some back like right now. And he tried awful hard there, man. He caused a major wreck there, or it was involved with that wreck. And so we're going to see that Austin Hill isn't going to back off. I think he's going to be even more aggressive now that he lost all his points.
Well, think about him and Richard Childress, all the things that they've been throughout the year. We're going into Richmond. What happened there last year at Richmond in the Cup race? Austin Dillon got into Joey Logano. They took the playoff win away. RCR has made some comments about that and not being happy with that. He's made some comments after the Austin Hill thing a few weeks ago about how they're a blue-collar team and NASCAR's coming after them. Also with the charter deal, there's been some comments from Richard Childress on the charters. So it seems like NASCAR and Richard Childress right now are butting heads, and I think they came into the weekend and Hill and Richard Childress were probably like, "Hey man, we feel wronged, and we're gonna go as hard as we ever have gone, and maybe after this whole thing, maybe it's, hey, we can't gain any more points because even if we win, we don't get the playoff points. If we win a stage, we don't get the playoff points. Maybe we should just back it off just slightly and maybe just finish a race cleanly and finish it that way and just have a nonchalant kind of race and be even keel." I know that's not how racers and teams think, but um, I don't know. That's just my opinion, I guess.
We'll see. We got Darlington after Richmond and then Daytona. We know how Austin Hill runs there. Talk about he's going to be pushing people and he's going to be crazy. He's going to be totally going for it because we always know he runs up front, so lots of things to look forward to before the playoffs for the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, there is. To finish this one up there, Sanchez would break and wreck under caution, but it would be Zilich who wins over Mayer, Sammy Smith, Hill, Quapple, Elgire, Green, Eckes, Jones, and Harrison Burton. The interesting part comes in victory lane. Zilich would pull in the victory lane, and I said it right away. I thought, oh, that window net's out as he was trying to get up on the car. He slipped once. They started spraying water, and unfortunately, he slipped again. His foot went inside of the car, an ugly-looking fall, terrible fall while celebrating, hit his head. He had to be transported to the hospital. He ended up having a broken collarbone. I'm glad it wasn't worse. And if you hear Connor talk about it, he thought he was going to break his femur because when his foot got into the door, it kind of got stuck. And then there's, that headrest. You can see it come up and get stuck in that headrest there. Luckily, nothing else was broken or hurt too bad. He would have to miss the cup race on Sunday that he was planning on racing in. And he also had surgery yesterday to put a plate in. So no timetable has been released. They are off this weekend. They don't race until Daytona the following week. From what I understand, people with a broken collarbone, they said the worst part about it was actually pulling the seatbelts tight. And the actual racing wasn't as bad as feeling the pressure from the belts. I'll be curious to see what they do for Daytona. You and I talked about it a few days ago, and I said I think Zilich will be out for Daytona and they'll bring him back for Darlington. I've kind of changed my opinion on that. What I think they'll do, maybe, if it all depends on how Connor's feeling, but if he's feeling like he can start the race, maybe they would start him at Daytona, have a relief driver come in, and then wait till Darlington and maybe do the same thing at Darlington. He's up 7 over Elgire in the regular season points, which we all know those playoff points that they get as regular season champion are very crucial. But health is number one. So I hope if he's not feeling it, he does not get in that car, even to start the race at all. But if he is, they could go that route and still pick up whatever points they can with a relief driver.
Yeah, that was a total scary incident, and he came on with an interview and he said, well, sorry guys, but that's so much for that celebration. They're going to probably ban that, and word came out today that said NASCAR is just like, no, I guess we're not going to really look into the celebrating, but they will pay attention that the net isn't on the door. And you ever see the bottom of a race car's shoes, these driver's shoes? There's nothing there. And probably a miracle that nobody's done this before has fallen off the car. And that was a scary, scary crash he had there. And you got off already, and I was sitting there just watching. I was doing something else, and I looked up and I saw that, and I said, Lauren, you see that? Go back to the race. And oh man, when he fell, it just knocked out and downright scary, man. That was just, but he's 19 years old. That's the lucky part for him, man. He can bounce back from it, but never want to see somebody take a fall like that. That was crazy.
No, yeah, very scary. Glad he's okay for the most point, and on the men there. He's been posting some funny things regarding the whole incident though, but I don't know if you saw this. He posted a picture of his arm, and during surgery, they ended up, because of the type of surgery he had and all that, and anesthesia, they had to put another wristband on his arm that said fall risk, and he said, "You just can't make this up." So he's having a little bit of fun with it, which was kind of funny, but just just glad he's okay.
You are a
But
fall
yeah,
risk.
yeah,
That's
that's
funny,
how you
but
ended up here in the first place. Yeah.
that's right. So you are a fall risk. Mm.
Zilich would have the fastest lap there, 72.843, which equals 121.082 miles per hour. They're off this weekend, then going to Daytona next, where Ryan Truex will be the defending winner there, and we'll talk more about that next week. But the Cup Series race then, early on, Larson would spin and have some brake issues. He would eventually go to the garage, so he would end up last place there at Watkins Glen. Busch would overshoot his pit. Buescher would win the first stage by staying out there, but Priest, Buescher, and Elliott would stay out at the end of the stage. There was a lot of strategy right off the bat in this race.
You know, it's something that Blaney even got the pole. He beat SVG on there, saying, "Wow, somebody actually beat SVG at something." And you know, once when they short pitted, you know, and he still got a seventh and beat SVG out for the first stage. So definitely thought like, wow, Ryan Blaney is going to be in the mix here. So that was interesting from the beginning.
Yeah, it was. Barry would spin after being behind a slower Elliott there on old tires, and he got hit from behind by Ty Dillon. Zane Smith kind of had nowhere to go. Barry would hit the wall. No caution would come out. Elliott would get to pit road, but the fueler trips over the tire and into the car. Um, and then the caution did come out there for debris where Barry spun.
That gas man, he's carrying 100 pounds like that. Watch him stumble into the car like that. Oh, that was crazy in itself too, man. But he finished the job. Had to hold up just a little bit to get the gas plugged in it. But man, he stumbled. The only thing that saved him was the car being there. Otherwise, he probably would have face planted with a gas can.
Yeah, I mean that was quite the tumble over that tire that he took in there. Luckily, he didn't drop the gas can and nothing else happened there. But I'm sure there was a little mark on the car. That's for sure. Then Jones almost wrecked in the S's after contact from Nemechek. Nemechek would wreck out of the carousel after contact with Gibbs. Again, no caution. That was kind of a hard hit over for Nemechek, but he ended up did get going. Blaney would win it by staying out.
Yeah, seeing Jones and Nemechek, you know, those are teammates, man.
Teammates.
Yeah, and Jones got put into the rail in the S's, man. So it's interesting that teammates were given. Yeah, and then come around the next corner, yeah, then Nemechek hit the wall, hit the guardrail hard.
Chastain and Hamlin would make contact while three wide. Hamlin got into Busch, who would spin. They would make more contact and keep going. Busch was having a great day up to that point. It looked like if the strategy felt right, he could be a contender up until then. He was aggressive at times, which he did make it three wide there. And if you listen to Denny Hamlin on his podcast, he said he wasn't real happy with Busch and didn't want to give him more than he had to, but also didn't want to wreck him there. So racing deal between former teammates for quite a while there. It was nice to see Busch how aggressive he was up to that point, though.
He would have spun out, but then the 11 came over and caught the front end and straightened him up, you know, and got him going. And not bad enough damage, man, that killed his day. But yeah, he would have been a spin out, but the 11 helped him stay straight there.
McDowell would get into Hocevar. Hocevar would spin over in turn one. Chastain would also get into Briscoe, and Briscoe would go through the grass.
You know, that Hocevar and the 7, there's teammates again, man. You know, with McDowell, teammates, and here they're giving each other, you know, so hard racing all the way around.
And they still haven't talked. I know McDowell said he wants to sit down with Carson at Richmond, but Carson seems a little unhappy with that. But this could be a learning moment for Carson too. Like after the feathers that he's ruffled this year, maybe you can see it from the other side too. So we'll see what happens between the Spire teammates. But Brad Keselowski would get a flat tire late. Shane Van Gisbergen would win it. It would be SVG, Bell, Buscher, Byron, Briscoe, Blaney. A lot of B's there at the top of the field again. Suarez, Wallace, Reddick, and Chastain.
Yeah, there was an 11-second lead. Once again, SVG, they thought this was one of his probably a more challenging race for him, and he had proved to be wrong there. Bell got second place just over Buscher. We're seeing how well Buscher can run around Watkins Glen, but the Seabell got him at the end for second place. So all in all, good race. Once again, SVG 4 in a row, 4 in a row on a road course. Like we say, if he can get his oval stuff, I mean, he's got some championship points, man. So now it's going to have to be figure out, how to get around the ovals. Something Connor Zilic can already do.
I told you that too. Zilic is what SVG wants to be. He's good on the ovals and he's great on the road courses. If SVG could take that path, now Zilic is much younger, but I text that to you. I said Zilic is what SVG wants to be, because that's exactly how I see it there.
Hey, one other thing. How about that camera that's through the bus stop? How do you like that?
Oh, yeah.
When you're going alongside, all of a sudden, the first time I saw it, I'm going, I love that camera angle.
I called you the other day on the way home, and we were kind of talking about things that we could see improved. And then all of a sudden I said, you know what? One thing I did love was that camera on the bus stop. And you and I, we couldn't see each other, but you could both hear us light up and go, yeah, wasn't that awesome?
Camera's just as fast as a race car is going through the bus stop, man. That was just outstanding.
That was phenomenal. Yes,
Yeah.
that into the corner, and it's right there. And oh my gosh, that was great. Strange enough too, Kyle Larson, we just talked about him having the issues early and being last place. He had the fastest lap of the race, 73.203 seconds, which equals 120.487 miles per hour.
You get a point for that. That's about all he got. So,
Yeah.
Man, that was just something like 3 laps, and he was out of brakes, man, and couldn't get it fixed. Yeah, unfortunate for Larson, man. Bad luck there.
Yeah, very bad. They go into Richmond this upcoming weekend, where Austin Dillon, we just talked about that incident. He was still the winner. He is still the past winner there. So Mark, let's make our picks for that right away. I get to go first for that one. I was debating who to use here, Hamlin, Briscoe, or Bell, and I decided to use Bell for the second time. So that's who I got coming your way.
Yep, that was my pick also. And if you took Bell, then I got to take the next pick that's there. And for the third time, I'm going to take Denny Hamlin. We know how he gets around Richmond, so that'll be a tough one for you to beat on Saturday night.
I really thought about taking Hamlin there. Like, something was telling me Briscoe. Martin Truex had run there a few times. The 19's really showing speed. Something's telling me Briscoe's the one to watch, but Hamlin was my true number one that I thought of right off the bat, and I ended up going with Bell, which is, they're probably 1A, 1B, 1C right there, probably. Maybe throw in Byron in there or something, but yeah, should be a good battle for us. Let's talk about news real quick, and then end this thing with the TV schedule and what we got going on this weekend. TSR Nitro, which is Tony Stewart Racing in the drag racing world, announced that Matt Hagan has signed a multi-year extension to continue driving the Dodge SRT Hellcat Funny Car in the NHRA Mission Foods Drag Racing Series. Also part of Tony Stewart Racing, and this was surprising to say the least, Tony Stewart Racing and Donnie Schatz, who has been with in the sprint car world for a long time, with Tony Stewart Racing for 18 years, multiple time champion. They have parted ways unexpectedly after the Knoxville Nationals. Kerry Madsen is going to be the driver for the rest of the year, starting this Friday over in Minnesota. But Kerry Madsen does have some experience in the number 14 sprint car, so he'll go into the 15 for Donnie Schatz. But some shocking news in the dirt world.
That was instant departure as of right now, and they split their ways. Long time being partners together, yep, and they went their separate ways.
Yeah, hard to believe that they did that, but they both said it's kind of their competitive ways, and they weren't as competitive as they liked. So um, yeah, we'll see what happens there.
Yep.
For the Truck Series, then, Spire Motorsports has released Truck Series driver Andres Perez de Lara. This was also surprising to me. Spire will not field the number 07 truck the rest of the season and will transfer those points to the number 77 truck, which will now be driven by Corey LaJoy for the rest of the year. Andre Perez de Lara announced that he is moving to Nice for the rest of the year. Nice race engineer Landon Polinsky moves over to be crew chief of the 42 truck of Matt Mills. Mike Shiplet will oversee the 41 part-time truck. Josh Berlicki and Connor Jones will compete in their scheduled races. Originally, they were going to be in the 44 that Andres Perez de Lara is now racing. So Nice and Spire Motorsports has some shaking up that happened over the weekend.
What a crazy time to have all of this, man. It is just totally switching around. There's everybody. It's hard to keep up with, man. There's so many people going in different places at a strange time of the season.
It is, yeah. Also in the Truck Series, CR7 Motorsports is going to field a second truck at Richmond, the number 97 for Carson Quapple. Again, the Xfinity Series is off this weekend, so it's a good time for Carson Quapple to get some Truck Series racing in. Xfinity drivers can race all truck playoff races, but not the championship race, remember, because we're talking about coming into the playoffs, not just yet, but just a reminder if something would happen for the future. Michael Shelton will serve as the crew chief for Quapple at Richmond here in the 97 truck.
Okay, 97. So take note of that one.
You kind of alluded to it. Cole Butcher is going to be in the 62 truck for Helma Friesen Racing. That will be at Bristol on September 11th.
So we'll see how that goes. He gets around them little bull rings. So, yeah, there's a good place to get your feet wet, huh, at Bristol.
I'm excited to see how Cole Butcher does. He's been good to us. He's a great racer. We see him winning all over the country, all over the world, I guess you'd say, because Canada, U.S. So he's quite the talent, well deserved to get a shot in the Truck Series.
Yep, and he's over at Berlin tonight, along with the rest of them that's going on at this time. So once we get out of here, I'll follow up and see what happened over there at Berlin, Michigan.
I'll try to follow up here as we get going too. Natalie Decker is set to return to the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Daytona in the number 92 Wawa Chevrolet for DGM Racing. If she makes the field, she'll join Shauna Robinson as the only female racers to make a NASCAR start post having a child.
Okay. And teammates with Balicki, right? Because I think he's in the Wawa 91 and she's in the Wawa 92. So
Yeah.
that's a bunch of Wawa right there.
The Wawa cars always look pretty good. I enjoy seeing Wawa on the cars.
They're red. That gets you interested right there.
For you, for sure, no doubt.
Yeah.
And then the last bit of news I got is the Cup Series Trackhouse Racing has announced it signed Shane Van Gisbergen to a multi-year contract extension. That was prior to his racing over in Watkins Glen, but absolutely surprising to nobody.
No, there's no surprise there, man.
Yeah. I'm just going to try to check on some Money in the Bank action over at Berlin to see if I can see anything here. Do you have anything else you want to talk about in the meantime?
I think we got it all covered, man. So we're looking forward to this week. Tomorrow night's the Blue Race. The Blue Race already, dude. So there that goes, right? The Blue Race. And boy, last week it was just such a bummer. You know, there was so many races that got rained out last, dirt and asphalt. Friday, Saturday was just a complete washout around Wisconsin. Lost a lot of good races there, but The weather looks halfway decent this weekend. We should be able to get a lot more racing in this weekend. So I'm kind of looking over at the Jefferson race. They've got the Orange Blossom Special down there. So thinking about maybe stopping on over there. I'm camping kind of down in that area. Take a little bit of travel to get on over there. The Midwest Tour, the ASA Midwest Tour is down at Grundy. Remember that place? We like that little bull ring, and that's going to be a heck of a race down there. That's going on down that way. So, what else is going on?
Midwest Truck Series is there as well.
Yep.
So Grundy's something I got my eye on. Jefferson's got a big event coming on tomorrow night with the Fox River Racing Club Blue Race coming up there where we'll crown some champions. We talked about that. Yeah, just some great racing going on the week. Slinger. Yeah, man, just get out and support your local racetracks. We need them around forever, like we were talking about the Milwaukee Mile too. So get out and support where you can. Money in the Bank update here. It is Austin Hull who took home the $40,000 check at the battle at Berlin. So Austin Hull took that home. It looks like Rowe was probably second in the 57 car. Ty may have ended up third or fourth. There was kind of a battle with him and Dorian. Michael Atwell was in fifth place with 10 to go, and Pollard was sixth. Seneker seventh, Crump eighth. So I'll have to wait for the official results to come out there. But one thing that I did see happen in the race that I was telling you about was Pollard and Hocevar made some contact, and Hocevar had one hell of a save. It was like in the middle of 3 and 4, and he was still trying to save it all the way going into turn 1. It was quite the save. Flow Sports has a clip of that if you haven't seen it already, so go take a look at that. But I do have the results now. So it was Austin Hull, Blake Rowe, Joey Dorian, Ty Majeski, Michael Atwell, the top 5. Bubba Pollard, Terry Seneker, Kyle Crump, Austin Terrace, and Scott Thomas, your top 10.
You want to talk about a tough racetrack? You think of kind of stuff that you should go check out that Berlin facility. We were there in 22. I was over there. And you want to talk about a tough racetrack, man. And I'll tell you what, fans, if you catch some Wednesday night races that are over there, they run 2 specials during the year. And it's well worth going to that facility and checking that out. It's a pretty cool place.
Yeah, I've heard it's awesome. It's definitely on my list for sure. So to end this thing, going to Richmond for the NASCAR series. This is the TV schedule. Thursday at 2:15 is modified practice. 5 o'clock is modified qualifying. And then 6:30 on Flow is the modified race, 150 laps there. In the 90s, 70s at night with 50% chance. So we'll see if the modifieds get in tomorrow night. Friday, 105 on FS2, truck practice and qualifying. 3:30 on True TV, cup practice and qualifying. 6:30 on FS1, the truck series race gets going. Stages of 70, 70, and 110. In the 80s during the day, 70s at night, 30% chance. Saturday, 6 o'clock on USA is pre-race. 6:30, the cup race gets going on USA Network. Stages of 70, 160, 170. Also in the 80s, 70s at night with 30% chance. So weather looks to be iffy, although we've said that over the last few weeks and we've gotten stuff in. So hopefully that happens again this week. I also want to mention for the Blue Race, the defending Blue Race winners from last year. Wisconsin Sport Truck was Casey Vanderloop. Season 4 was Justin Fickle. Super Stock was Cody Vanderloop. Late model was Brazen Bennett. Super late model was Maxwell Schultz. And Danny Graciani took the figure 8. And the red, white, and blue state champions from last year. Wisconsin Sport Truck was Brady Vanderloop. Season 4 was Mitch Upsall. Super Stock was Mike King Jr. Late model was Alex Stumpf. Super late model was Riley Stenjum and Ty Majeski as the team in the Chase Motorsports 47. And Jordan Graciani was in the figure 8. So it looks like we're going to have some passing of the torches tomorrow night for red, white, and blue state champions. But some could remain the same at the same time. So coming out, racing starts at 6:30. It's going to be an awesome night of racing.
It's going to be a beautiful night, and all them tight points, man. You don't think there's going to be some good competition? Man, I tell you what, they're going to be going for it tomorrow night. So all fans need to get on out there and support that because it's going to be a fun night out at the racetrack for the Blue Race.
It's going to be a great night, great weather. Couldn't ask for a better night of weather. I know sunset's a little earlier now already. We're in the middle of August. Hard to believe. I heard today the sunset is at 8 o'clock. The next 8 o'clock sunset that we'll have up here is May 6th, I believe, or May 4th, sometime in May. It's like 260 days from now. So, enjoy it.
There's a lot of racing in 260 days, dude. A lot of racing and racing news. So we'll take a day at a time as we're losing 2 minutes every day. But yeah, it's been a fun summer. It's been a normal summer. It's been a fast summer. That's really, but aren't they all? They're all the same, man. We always say we're at the Tundra race at Kaukauna. Next thing you know, we're at La Crosse before you know it. So enjoy what we got. Still got 3 weeks to go, man. So get out there and support that place.
It's going to be a fun 3 weeks starting tomorrow night with the Blue Race. Hey, everyone. Appreciate your support. Thank you, Tim, Ben, and Carrie for all the support you do for us and everyone in racing. Mark, thank you. Thank you to everyone else for your support. It means the world to us. And, hey, we will talk to you soon.
Yep. Thanks, Mike Meyerhofer. Hoping that he'll win a figure eight race tomorrow night also. And, yes, we will see you at the track tomorrow night.
See ya.
This has been a production of Lore Sports. Hope you all enjoyed it, and thank you for listening.